Hi, in this video I'll show how to format a string. So we will also be working with methods. I'll create a new project, new Java project, and this will be format string, project name, and finish. So here I'll create a class. So in this case it's just going to be a driver class, and I will add main method here. Alright, so it automatically created the package for me. And here, let's say I want to return some kind of string from a method. Actually, I don't have to return it. Let me show you a simple example first. So, and here, let's say I'll create a local variable string message equals string format. All right. So here I will put a string, and this will be my arguments. So let's say, let me write some sentence where I can use some integer and perhaps a string. So my name is, and this is going to be a string. And I will also say I am study, or I am in some number grade. Okay, let's say it's some student from school. So here, let me put something like this. Well, first we have a string, so I will put a string here. Let's say Margaret, and the grade she's going to is 7. Now I want to output this message to the user, so I'll add it here and save the program and run the code. Okay, you can see it's replacing, it's printing this sentence, but it's replacing every format specifier here with the parameter that I provided. So for the string, my first parameter was Margaret, and for D, I guess digit, I have number 7. Okay, so this is how you format a string, and then you can display it. You can have multiple things. Let's see what kind of errors we get if I will put some another format specifier here, D, but I will not provide an argument. So save the file and run. So I'm getting exception, format specifier, but there is no value to put there because I never provided it. But to fix it, let me put another number there and run it. Now you can see it's reading and there is no exception. What if I put a string instead of the number here? Let's run it again. So again, I am getting an exception, illegal format conversion exception. So it's expecting a number but is getting a string. So it says D does not equal string. So this D is not a string. That's what it's saying. Okay. Another way we can do it, let's combine creating a method and returning a nicely formatted string from that method. So let's say my method will be, I'll just change it, get nicely formatted string. And I can pass arguments or not. So in the first case, I'm not going to pass anything, but I am going to return a string. So instead of void, I will provide the type that I'm returning, and I need return statement, returning message back, save. So now I need to call this method. I can call it here, save it into another variable, and then pass the variable here, or I can call the method right inside here, and whatever is returned will be passed to this method and printed to the user. So let's run it. Sorry, I have the extra format specifier here. Okay, let's run it. And here it is. It's working fine. Okay, I said we can also pass some arguments. So instead of putting the numbers here, I will actually put the variables here. The parameters that I'm passing, name and grade. But now I need to provide them here. So Margaret and 7. Save and run it again. So now I get Margaret with lowercase because that's what I'm sending. So same thing, slightly different. Another way you can return a string, actually it's exactly the same way, but here I'm calling it inside the same driver class. So I'm just calling the method. But what if I had another class? Let me create a class, animal. And let's say here we have some variables. Private string name, private integer age. Okay, let me generate getters and setters quickly. Select all, generate. Okay, and now I want to return a string. So I can just create a method. I can take this method from here, or let me copy it and create another one inside the animal. Okay, I'm not going to pass these values here. Animal name is, and animal age is. So that's what the text that I want to show. And here I will have name, and this will be age. And let's see what it is complaining about. Static. So we don't want static. So actually, when we work with objects, in most of cases, we don't need static methods, and we actually don't want to have static methods. All right. You can also add this to the variables to indicate that it's this object, but it would work either way. All right, so we have the method, we have the message, we're reading the instance variables, we have the formatting the string and returning it back. So now in the driver class, what I am going to do is I will create object animal, animal equals new animal, and I will set some values. Animal set age 13, a very old animal if it's a dog or a cat. Animal set name leaf. Let's give a name like this. And now we want to print out whatever the values are set. So one way to call the animal object, if I hit dot, I get some suggestions. I can just go and copy this method from the animal class, but it's giving suggestion to me, so I will just select it. I know this is the method that I created myself. All right, so and it's returning a string, so I can actually create a variable result, maybe like so, and I want to pass result here. Let's run it and see what we're going to see. So animal is leaf, animal age is 13. So whatever I set here, this method is returning it back to me in one string. A shortcut would be that I don't save it to result variable, but I just call this method directly here, like this, and whatever is returned here becomes parameter for this method, and it prints to the user. Let's run it again, and you can see the result is the same. So I have shown you how to create method and how to return a nicely formatted string. It doesn't have to be a message. You can give it any other name. You don't even have to store it in another variable. You can even do it like so. Okay. So this whole thing becomes a string, one string, and it returns back one string. So, but these are the way you can complicate your code a little bit, or some people might see it as simplify. But this one line is doing multiple things, so for new developers, it might be a little bit difficult to understand all the things that are happening here. So this is one way you can do it. Inside the same class, you can return the method. You can return a string from a method you create in the same class, or you can create an object and call a method on that object. So to call a method on that object, you have to put the object name, the variable name for this object, dot, and then the method that you want to call.